Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the cold chain community, myself, Mayura, would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you joining today's webinar on achieving GDP compliance in complex global cold chain networks. We are thrilled to see participants from across the industry leaders, professionals, and experts all coming together to discuss one of the most critical topics in pharmaceutical logistics and supply chain management. Before we begin, just a few quick notes. Today's session will run approximately for 60 minutes, followed by a Q&A session. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat box during the session. We will try to address as many as possible at the end. So before we begin, I would like to introduce Mr. Avinash Verma, founder of NAB-CCM, to share a few words.
Thank you, Mayura. Good day, everyone. It is distinct pleasure to welcome you to this special webinar hosted by National Accreditation Body for Cold Chain Management. Whether you are joining us from across the country or around the world, we deeply appreciate your presence and engagement. At NAB-CCM, we are dedicated to advancing excellence, safety, and integrity in the implementation of good distribution practice guidelines for both the pharmaceuticals and food industry. It's encouraging to see the growing collaboration among stakeholders all working together towards a more cohesive, evidence-based approach to health and well-being. Today's webinar brings together leading experts, innovative strategies, and meaningful dialogue in a panel discussion designed to move us forward in our collective commitment to quality, reliability, and accountability in healthcare. Now, I would like to request Dipali to kindly play the video of NAB-CCM to understand about the introduction.
Welcome to National Accreditation Body for Cold Chain Management. NAB-CCM is the first of its kind ecosystem dedicated to advancing cold chain management. It is a collaborative initiative driven by partnerships between academia, industry, and government, focused on providing education, training, awareness, certification, incubation, and accreditation within the cold chain industry. NAB-CCM aims that businesses involved in manufacturing, storage, transportation, and handling of temperature-sensitive goods are well-trained and audited for best practices. This helps maintain the quality, efficacy, and integrity of goods such as food, medicines, and vaccines, ensuring consumer safety and regulatory compliance. In-depth research into the cold chain industry revealed significant gaps: lack of standards and policy frameworks, inadequate regulatory and policy guidance for effective cold chain management, shortage of skilled manpower, limited expertise in managing cold chain operations, absence of standardized education, lack of a defined curriculum for life sciences and healthcare graduates to prepare them for cold chain roles, lack of certification body, absence of an authoritative organization for certification or accreditation in cold chain management, lack of monitoring systems, ineffective tracking and tracing mechanisms lead to broken cold chains, low awareness, limited understanding within the community about the critical role of the cold chain in safety and efficacy, unsustainable infrastructure, insufficient emphasis on creating sustainable and efficient cold chain solutions. NAB-CCM is established to bridge these gaps by optimizing processes and fostering collaboration among the government, academia, and industry. It aims to hand-holding regulators, develop and implement comprehensive standards and policies,
train and certify skilled professionals,
Introduce and promote cold chain specific curriculum. Assist for end-to-end monitoring and traceability system. Raise awareness about the importance of an effective cold chain. Support sustainable infrastructure development. By addressing these challenges, NAB-CCM aims for robust, reliable and sustainable cold chain ecosystem that meets the highest global standards.
So this is about the introduction of National Accreditation Body for Cold Chain Management. So here, like we are bringing a holistic approach where we are bringing the cold chain ecosystem together, where we are involving the industry, academia, government, and social body all together. So there are a couple of services also we have initiated it from NAB-CCM so that we will be able to handhold and have a standard benchmark so that we can give a cost-effective and quality services. So Dipali, if you can put the PPT related to the services. Yeah, the second slide. So for in the services, if you see like the first one is audit and certification. So we are conducting internal audits and gap analysis. We also provide services related to GDP, GMP, FSSI, ISO licensing related supports that we are providing to the organizations who are into manufacturing, warehousing, storage, distribution, logistics, then transportation, monitoring systems, track and trace. So we are providing them all these services. Then mock inspections, even compliance checklists, we are preparing it and we are supporting them. Similarly, in the pharma, healthcare, and retail pharmacy side, like we are helping the organizations in training their pharmacists, QA/QC department, and the logistics staffs in GMP and GDP related support that we are providing. So those kind of trainings that we are giving it. Even we are also into development of quality management system and the risk assessments also we are doing for these kind of like the pharma or the healthcare organizations as well as the retail pharmacies. When we are saying retail pharmacies is more of like the chain pharmacies we are mostly targeting so that we can have a compliant like system in place related to the good distribution practice guidelines. Even we are also supporting them with the help of the reefer logistics supports like where we also aligning it related to the return logistics because sustainability plays a major role over here. So how we can make it more sustainable like their entire processes. So we are supporting them. Again, we are also supporting them by providing them with the packaging solutions which are validated, and also we are helping them in repacking support as well. Apart from that, even there are a lot of devices that requires calibration and monitoring. So for that, like we also are handholding them to support them for calibration support as well as thermal mapping support related to the warehousing and even the vehicle thermal mapping and all that kind of supports we have initiated and we are doing it. QAQC system across the storage and delivery chain. Similarly, in warehouse services, again, an internal audit for the layout, insulation, and airflow, thermal mapping of their facilities, SOP creation, quality management system creation. SOPs also, as per their processes, we are aligning for the inbound, outbound, return, and reconciliation, as well as inventory management. Training programs also and a skill development for their manpower, as well as we are also helping them in deploying skill manpower because we have various curriculums through which like there are candidates who are already studying and they once they want to enter into the industry we are getting them certified, and then that will be a kind of database which will be helped where we can provide these kind of candidates to the organizations. Here also calibration supports and temporary warehouse operation activities also we are trying to support the organizations with, where if they want a short-term storage kind of facilities, then we are handling them through various stakeholders and various other organizations we are trying to combine, and then we are providing these services. So this is about warehousing. Similarly, like for the startups and innovations, like here the companies or the organizations who are in the startup phase and who are trying to develop products and services related to cold chain. We are handholding them from the point of inception till the technical know-how, and then the regulatory and documentation guidelines processes, pilot testings, and then field validations, and then product positionings, and co-development of tools and training materials as well for these organizations. Next slide, please. When we talk about the reefer logistics, again, uh, organizations, those who are into the transportation and deliveries at the last mile, so there we are providing them support for preparing their SOPs as per their processes, thermal validation of their vehicles, also those kind of supports. Driver training also is very, very important nowadays, because they have to understand the criticality of the shipment what they are carrying, so that they should also understand it's not only cargo that they are carrying, it's a life saving materials that they are carrying, so they should have the accountability of it, and for that reason the drivers need to be trained. Setup of GPS system as well as the temperature monitoring system in place, that we are supporting them, and the quality management system development over there as well. Similarly, sustainability and ESG side also, like we are focusing. So we have expert in our panels, like who support in assessing the sustainability assessment part, and then an ESG audit also, where we are playing a major role, and then we are supporting an ESG implementation in various organizations, whether it is manufacturing, it is warehousing, it is transportation, or any other like service provider. The example is the packaging companies as well. So here the sustainability, since there is a lot of words related to sustainability, and all these organizations are mostly focused towards like how they can become more sustainable. So there, like we are helping out in making them more sustainable, because here the BRSR report and SDG framework need to be in place, because the business responsibility and sustainability reporting has already started into 2023, and this is for the first top 1,000 listed companies. But again, these companies are expecting their vendors and the service providers also to align with the sustainability side. And that's how like we are supporting the MSME sectors to align in the sustainability angle. So climate risk modeling also, we are doing it, and advisory on solar power storage and energy efficient systems like windmill and the solar power, as well as other alternative source of energies, like through which like we are supporting them. And strategic development of low emission supply chain. So here, these are the activities that we are involved into related to sustainability and ESG, that is the environment, social, and governance. Similarly, in the food and agriculture sector, also like we are supporting in providing licensing details related to FSSI, HACCP, and then food safety standards, deployment of SOPs for post-harvest handling, that is the pre-cooling sectors, like because after harvest, there has to be a pre-cooling and various other like processes that need to be involved, so that so that these spoilages of food, fruits, vegetables, and horticultures can be minimized, because a lot of wastage happens at the farm gate. So how we will be able to align? So that's where like we are supporting. And then advisory on the packaging solutions also, because that is very much important if it is related to the transportation from one place to another. Training and capacity building is also very much important, where we are handholding the FPOs, that is the farmer producer organizations, and we are training them so that they should also understand the importance of cold chain. And design and execution of self life, that part we are covering it. From the government and public sector side, again, skill development and certification activities that we are rolling out, capacity building initiative, as well as curriculum development, we are doing it. ESG and sustainability audits, again, this is applicable for the government and policies and public sectors that we are handholding, and then audit and modernization plans for government run facilities, because as we know that GMP is already getting implemented, and the next stage is the good distribution practice guidelines. It's in the draft version, but very soon it's going to be implemented, and we are looking forward that the organizations also should start preparing for that good distribution practice guidelines implementation, and for that these services will be helpful. So we are vouching for the organizations, those who are interested into these kind of services. We will be happy to help from one single platform, that is NAB-CCM, National Accreditation Body for Cold Chain Management, a single platform from where we can get anything and everything related to cold chain management. So this is about our services. And now I would like to hand it over to Mayura to take this forward.
Thank you, Mr. Avinash. As many of you know, ensuring GDP compliance is no longer optional. It's a mandate that directly impacts product integrity, patient safety, and regulatory trust. But with the increasing complexity of global cold chain networks, multiple geographies, diverse regulatory framework, and advanced technologies, achieving GDP compliance has become both a challenge and an opportunity. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce our distinguished speakers for the day. Mr. Ryan Vegas will be moderating the entire session. Mr. Ryan is a management consultant for pharma supply chain. Our speaker in the panelist are Mr. Sanjay Dixit, who is a VP Logistic and Distribution in Intas Pharmaceuticals Private Limited. Mr. Imtiaz Nayak is GM Logistic in Vansal Diagnostic India Private Limited. And Mr. Pradeep Joshi, DGM in Reliance Life Sciences. I request Mr. Ryan to take the in charge and start the webinar.
Thank you, Mayura, for your kind introduction. And just to repeat the topic so that people have not forgotten, the topic is achieving GDP compliance in complex global cold chain networks. I just have a few opening remarks, to bring in this topic. And I think we can all agree that human health and well-being are among the top priorities for everyone. In this respect, pharmaceuticals form the core of our healthcare. I believe that it is the role and mission of the pharma industry to provide affordable healthcare to all human beings. India has the world's largest population, but it also is among the world's largest producers of pharma products by volume. While every care is being taken to produce world-class quality medicines, especially due to the GMP regulations, there is still a lot of work to be done when it comes to distribution of cold chain or temperature sensitive products. In regulated markets, GDP regulations are in place. In India, I think Avinash already touched on this. GDP guidelines have been published by CDSO, but are yet to be made into a regulation. It gives me, an example of when we were driving a car, until the seat belt became mandatory, nobody put the seat belt, even though everybody was educated enough to understand that it is unsafe to drive without a seat belt. So similarly, whenever regulations come into place, it encourages people to comply. And that is what I think we would like to discuss in this group discussion. So in this discussion, we have three experienced senior management panelists from the pharma as well as the diagnostics and healthcare industry. So to begin with my first topic and question, I would, put the first question to Sanjay. Sanjay is VP Logistics and Distribution for Intas. So Sanjay, can you share your experience while distributing temperature-controlled pharma products in the domestic market? How are they handled once the product has left the company warehouse?
Thank you, Ryan, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Avinash and Mayura, to giving this opportunity to share the knowledge. It is not an experience, but it's a knowledge, and it's an ongoing process. Learning is always ongoing process. So, coming to the basic topic, the how the cold chain is maintained, or once the products are distributed from the warehouse, it's a long journey till the last mile delivery. Even if we connect it with our regular life, the logistics starts from the manufacturing site and it ends when it reaches to the end user patient's house. From manufacturing site plant to the warehouse, from warehouse to the C&F or a distributor, or distributor to the wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, and retailer's place when we purchase it and we bring it to our home. This is a logistics channel, and each logistics channel is a distribution, is a storage point also. So when we are saying that it's a cold chain product, yes, the product efficacy is directly linked with the storage and handling of the goods. Nowadays, if we compare with the earlier scenarios, the things are more better and improved. As per my experience, I have gone through the details of handling the products with help of the dry ice. And now it has come up to the liquid nitrogen gas, a refrigerated van. Then there are solar rooftop operated small vehicles which are carrying the products, maintaining the 2 to 8 degree temperature. When the product is moved, the first of all, my experience is that whatever the reefer vehicles we are using, the vehicle should be calibrated, because the vehicle should be able to sustain the proper temperature condition throughout the journey. When we were using these refrigerated vehicles, we ensure that the drivers are trained, as Mr. Avinash already explained, that the driver's training is there. We also ensure that the reefer vehicle is carrying small utility box wherein it carries a set of the spanners, some disc piece, fan belt, some small minor repairable spare part also, and the driver has proper understanding for SOS repairing also, because he is the first person whenever we are facing any challenge with the cold chain breakage with the with the reefer vehicle. He should be able to address the small things till the technical team is reaching over there. Nowadays, many of the service providers, they are having their highway contact points in a vicinity of 200 kilometers or 150 kilometers or 300 kilometers as per their requirements, so that in emergency they are giving all these supports to the any breakdowns and all these things, so temperature conditions are maintained, because if the temperature condition is not maintained, the product is losing its efficacy. Moving further, once the product is going to this, now it is going to be delivered at the respective site. The respective sites, earlier they were using this deep freezer, chest coolers, bottle coolers, all these things. The technology has introduced smart cold rooms. Now the smart cold rooms, why it is a smart cold room? Because these cold rooms are facilitated with online temperature monitoring system, and this temperature system access is given to as much as the user, like the company's quality maintenance officers, company's distribution managers, even the C&FA owner or the managers, and the key account persons of the sales team, so that they are able to monitor the temperature throughout the day and night. I know one company where this online temperature system is installed, and it gives the alerts the moment the temperature is escalated below or above the standard acceptance times. For an example, when we open the cold room for the product movement, it will take 4 to 5 minutes or 10 minutes for the in and out of the product. So we have set the limit of for the 20 minutes. So if the temperature, there is a escalation beyond 20 minutes, it will immediately give the alert to the respective persons that a so and so cold room is having some problem and temperature is there is increase in the temperature. Similar way, reefer vehicles nowadays GPRS based online temperature monitoring systems are also there. So these are the ways to monitor the temperature when the products are in transit or products are products are stored also. Further, when the products are moved from C&F to the stockist, now there are the companies, they are using approved packaging solutions which maintain the temperature during the transit, and the data loggers are used to monitor the temperature during this transit period. So the similar way, the stocks is now arrived at the stockist point. Many companies, they also perform audit of the stockist cold chain facility. Okay, whether the stockist is maintaining proper cold chain or not, what infrastructure he is having, what is a power backup, whether he is having a genset. If he is having a genset, then whether he is able to store the required diesel for the emergency use, whether he is having a day, night, 24/7 security guard, because during the night time, if the electricity is failed, then who will go and start the generator, whether the generator is auto switch on, auto switch off, or manual. All these things are coming in now in a place. Now the technology has moved one step ahead, where now from stockist point, the product is delivered to any institution or a hospital or a doctor. We have Bluetooth enabled technology enabled data loggers, where the stockists are packing the goods into thermocol box. They keep a data logger inside the thermocol box, and product move to the concerned doctor or hospital or a patient, wherein concerned receiving person will download the application on his mobile phone, and he will track the data logger which is kept inside the thermocol box, and his mobile phone will connected with this data logger through Bluetooth technology. Without opening the thermocol box, he will be able to access the temperature, whether the temperature was maintained during the transit or not. And if he is satisfied, then he has to give the acceptance. Yes, I am satisfied with the temperature, and he will click it. Then only the courier person or delivery person will hand over the consignment to him. Patient, doctor, or storekeeper will collect the consignment. He will collect the medicine, and he will hand over the data logger to the concerned person back. So this is all what we discuss about the logistics operation, how the cold chain products are handled. But parallelly, as Avinash told, the training is required how to handle this product, how to store this product. It is also required. So many companies, they have their own SOPs, own training calendars. There are audits also, because anything which is not auditable, we can't have any assurance. So there are frequent audits of the what process is followed, whether the truck arrived at the loading point was pre-cooled properly or not, the thermocol box which are used for the handling of the product without electricity supply with help of the gel packs, that thermocol box is validated for how many hours. All these things are there in SOPs. So as accordingly SOP, there are periodical audits are also taking place. So that's all. I hope Ryan, I have answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sanjay, for your very detailed explanation. And I think this comes with a lot of years of experience and hard work, and really appreciate your sharing the details. So now that we've heard about the domestic aspect of cold chain storage and transportation, let us move to the international aspect. And for that, I would request Mr. Pradeep Joshi of Reliance Life Sciences. When it comes to international logistics, Pradeep, can you throw some light on what care is taken, especially with respect to the logistics service providers who handle the product once it leaves the company?
Yeah, thank you, Ren. Thank you, Ren. And good afternoon to all. I hope I am audible to you all. And basically, when we talk about the international shipments, international consignment, the consignment, international consignments are specifically main role of the basically in this consignment is comes with the freight and forwarders. They play a major role in the connection between the consignment in the with the party and the company. Basically, there are two type of we can say there are two type of international shipments. More we are right now available is the air and ocean. We all know that. In terms of ocean, there is a one benefit is that we are having a complete cold chain refer container. So the container we can put all the medicine inside the container, and the container is lodged on the particular vessel, so which can travel towards the across the country. However, the main aspect of the container is the issue is related with the delay time. We can say that for the South American side countries and all these various countries, the vessel has to travel. It has to take the time of from almost from 30 days to 50 days, which is a very per se we can say it is a time consuming factor also. For some time it is a for some company it is a very delay factor we can say. So the most of the time the majority shipments are rely on the air mode only. When there is a question of a air mode, then definitely we have to rely on the box configuration or the proper packing configuration. We have to select according to the country which where we want to send the medicine. Very important factor in the international shipment is that the size of the shipment. Where in a domestic we can work on a little medium size or a small size where point to deliveries are in a very approachable manner. However, when we are crossing the boundaries and we are entering in the another country with such a huge size shipment, then it becomes all the control parameters becomes very difficult to manage, because that one like maybe like in medicine case, like in my own experience, our one shipment of prefilled syringes is having almost 1.5 lakh syringes we are shipping in a one consignment in one shipment, which is a very huge size. At that size we have a big challenge to maintain how we are maintaining the temperature of that particular shipment. Earlier, there was a consideration that we are seeing the shipment is having a data loggers, and then data loggers are they are downloading the data logger and they are getting the temperature in let's say for 2 to 8 degree or whatever the desired temperature of that product. However, the paradigmic shift, and now the even foreign countries are now considering that each and every box is a separate ecosystem, and many of the customers are now demanding that you should have each and every box with a separate monitor and data logger. So in that time, in this all cases, we have everyone has a big challenge, like how to maintain that particular temperature in between 2 to 8 degree for such a long period. Now, how much is the long period in the such cases? Sometimes the many neighboring countries we can deliver the consignment in 3 days. We can say 3 days is the appropriate time right now. With the freight and forwarders are also managing that this thing. So vulnerable factors in case of international shipments are two. One is means predominantly two. One is the time required for the shipment reach to the party, and another is the temperature exertion, if any, during that particular thing. So the time required is 3 days, or in case of Miami or Miami-based countries in the particularly in the South American country like Peru, Lima, then maybe in Beirut, all kind of things, or maybe in the Colombia or kind of thing, where you require time to deliver shipment in 5 days, 6 days, clearance some in a particular time. So these are the where, as you ran asked me the question, that the role of freight and forwarder is very important in all these cases. Like when your shipment is getting delayed or this thing, then their contact points in that countries should play a vital role, and then the minimum protection, how maximum protection we can give to the consignment so that the temperature exertion will not happen, has to be taken care by the company itself also and freight forwarders also. So that's why the freight forwarder has to be chosen very carefully, and that freight forwarder we have to check it for their capacity, how they are demonstrating their capability to deliver the product to the different countries, what is their past experience, how much kind of shipments they have handled, how they have answered their complaints, if any complaints they have received, how they are handling their complaints, what is the mechanism of their investigation to identify the root cause, and honesty behind that all this particular thing, how they are identifying that particular root cause and addressing the problem. Another thing is that when we are choosing for such type of a shipment through air, the strong qualification, box qualification or the packing configuration qualification or validation is very, very important. We have to consider all the aspects of that mapping lane. For the country we have to carefully select the mapping lane for that country. We have to identify the problem right from the premises to the airport. Even for small time, the consignment will get exposed in the tarmac. Means before loading in the cargo will never have a 2 to 8 degrees because it will go in the 15 to 25 control temperature. So there again the challenge is there. So then when they are landing in the destination country, again basically many companies are having the services from door to port only. From the destination country to their own premises, how they are handling that, what kind of a data logger they are using, what kind of a vehicle they are using, engaging in that particular shipment. These all comes under our validation process, validation cycle. Our validation cycle should be such a rugged and it should cover all these particular aspect so that the product will reach safely to the customer premises. So that's why it is very important because even temperature of the consignment is shown exertion up to 2 degree or maybe a 3 degree. So then what you will do with such a large shipment, even you then you cannot take it back. These are the very big challenges in as well as long as you are considering international logistics. So these all factors we have to be very careful while choosing that particular thing. And many experienced people work on that particular thing that how it will be a very smooth by maintaining all the quality parameters. Freight forwarders role, I will say that this is the first I have already discussed that it should be that company should identify the capacity potential of the freight forwarder. At the same time, company freight forwarder should also have equipped with such a kind of ASR procedures in case if the flight is getting delayed, something is happening, how they want to minimize that period. And the selection of box is also very important. Which box is giving how much time of validated hours? What kind of box this FNF is offering to us? Then how much is the validity of the box? What kind of ambient condition is adaptable where you are sending the box? How much ambient worst condition can tolerate box can tolerate? So these things also has to be very that jointly that call has to be taken by company and the freight forwarders, even logistics service provider we can say in that case. So basically last minute changes in the trip, last minute changes in the airport activities or any related activities, in that case freight forwarders role is very important in here. So these are the small. Actually, it is a very broad subject, but you gave me a chance, and I got an opportunity to explain you the very important aspects of that particular thing. So, and thank you all NAB-CCM team also for giving me the opportunity. So it's a. I hope I can able to answer your question properly.
Thank you, Pradeep, for your very interesting and elaborate explanation. I think it's very important for us to realize the different aspects when we are, moving pharma products, especially cold chain products, domestically as well as internationally. Now, I would like to talk to Imtiaz, who's head of logistics in One Cell Diagnostics. So, Imtiaz in the diagnostics field, and you are managing the logistics of diagnostics and blood and plasma products. So, can you share the core points that need to be monitored while moving temperature as well as time sensitive products?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan. Thank you, NAB-CCM team, to giving me an opportunity to be on the panel of this esteemed speaker. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, all the participants. So, as rightly said by Mr. Ryan, I mean, like we being into the diagnostics segment, what are the core points we have to take care of? So, obviously, the number one point, while I am into this diagnostics segment where we deal with routine samples, some specialized samples, some very highly specialized samples, and some samples which have to move out of country. So, all these samples, the main criteria is temperature sensitivity. Some samples need temperature at 2 to 8, 15 to 25, minus 20 degrees, and some samples can obviously come in ambient temperature. So the main important factor here is the temperature depends upon the test what is required. Second is the rapid turnaround time. We need to have a very short turnaround time. For that, we need to design our routing. How can we have the shortest turnaround time? The third is the sample integrity. Now, what is the point of carrying the samples all the way from origin to the destination table or to the processing table where the sample has lost its integrity? So what is the point in getting samples from origin to the processing table and the sample lands in a spoiled or a damaged condition? So sample stability and integrity is very important. Now coming to the first point back, temperature sensitivity. Yes, obviously every sample in oncology segment, every sample is important because the sample what is been derived is pertaining to a patient who is already undergoing some kind of treatment. Okay. So when we collect the blood, we make sure that the sample is transferred in a 2 to 8 degree sample so that the biomarkers in it, there could be some DNA extractions, RNA extractions at the processing end. The processing team, the laboratory team is able to get the exact amount of input what is desired by them. So 2 to 8 degrees for our samples or temperature maintenance of our samples actually help the lab team to give an accurate, appropriate result, which in turn will help the patient for the best treatment and best diagnosis. So here the temperature plays a very important role. Now there could be some samples, could be CSF, okay, which cannot be maintained in an ambient temperature. The moment it is in the ambient temperature, it loses quality. So the moment it is taken out from patient's body, it has to be placed in 2 to 8 degrees or minus 20 degrees according to the protocols and transferred to the processing table, and the processing lab is able to get the desired output or input which is required from that sample. So yes, sample integrity is actually linked with the temperature. Reporting is linked with the temperature. The diagnosis treatment is linked with the temperature. So here the temperature plays a very important role. Coming to the second point, I was saying we need to have a very shortest turnaround time, very rapid turnaround time. Yes, we need to have this rapid turnaround time, and it is because that if we, you never know when the samples would come from. I mean, like in manufacturing unit or some other unit or a depot. So basically, the units are set up where we have a good infra. The infra is already set. But in case of diagnostic setup, the sample could come from interiors of Bhilwara, interiors of Nellore, Guntur, Parbhani, no, Perinthal in Kerala. Could be some interiors of tier 3 or far away from tier 3 cities. So how would we manage the sample collection from there? So here the temperature vendors, here the vendors who provide us with the temperature support plays a very crucial role. So we say that okay, today the sample is to be collected, and if the temperature box is not available, we say please hold on with the collection. Don't go for the collection. Please hold on. Please do the collection only when the suitable infra is made available there in that place. So in diagnostics, I would say the infra is very mobile. The infra is not a permanent setup. In diagnostics, the cold chain infra is very mobile. It is going to the patient's place. The cold chain infra is going to the place where it's actually needed and then transferred all the way to the processing table. Rapid turnaround time, understanding the routing, how to go about for the first mile of empty boxes, the reverse mile of getting the samples back. That plays a very crucial role in diagnostic segment. The third and the important point I would also like to convey is about the cost part. And when we say cold chain infra, there is a cost to it. There is a cost to maintain the cold chain box at the origin, the refrigerators, the packaging material, the data loggers, moving the samples, probably moving the shipments on the next available flight, taking it a surface more to the interiors, let's say 100, kilometers from airport, bringing it back the same routing. There is a cost to it. And how much cost are we going to add to the test? Is it viable for the patient to pay for that? Is it really needed to spend so much of amount for that particular test to be carried? But yes, in the medical fraternity, cost is important, but the quality plays a primary role here. And trust me, there are people in medical fraternity who says yes, cost is a concern, but quality is what is important. And maintaining temperature and quality is important. And yes, there could be some balances done with the cost, so that even the end consumers is not burdened with huge amount of infra cost, so that the infra cost is not passed on to him. So at diagnostics, we have to take care of the costing part of it, where we are supporting the medical fraternity, the patient who is undergoing the treatment. So basically, these are the three, four major pointers which play very important role in diagnostics movement. And when we talk about the international clearance, we do get samples from abroad, and we do move samples from abroad. We only move the samples when we get a green signal at all ends. So we first pre-clear the consignment. Could be kits. We need kits in a processing laboratory. We need samples. We need some samples for research and development, innovations. We do get such samples. So we only give a green signal when we have a go ahead from all. We have a green signal at all levels. So we have to be always on our toe when it is regards to blood samples, CSF samples, because there could be some samples which cannot be collected and repeated again. So here again, the temperature plays very important role. So Mr. Ryan, from the diagnostics perspective, temperature, routing, rapid turnaround time, cost balancing, green signal from various channels plays some important roles in the movement.
Thank you, Imtiaz, for your very detailed, elaborate explanation. I think it's a lot of knowledge that all of us are gaining from this discussion. And next point is, I don't think there can be a panel discussion without a topic of technology. Okay, and therefore, uh, so I think we are depending more and more on technological support. So I'd like to ask Sanjay, how does technology like real-time tracking help the pharma industry maintain cold chain compliance in supply chain and logistics?
Correct, Ryan. See, the technology, without technology, nothing is possible in this era. Right. So, real-time tracking, the real-time temperature monitoring, these all things are very much helpful to determine whether the product which required the which storage condition is maintained or not. Even where is your consignment moving as of now? All these things are possible with help of the technology only. See, if you say in my initial talk, I describe about the technology Bluetooth technology enabled data loggers. Earlier, when the delivery persons were going to the delivery point, the stockist or a customer who opens the thermocol box and then he says, "No, there is no temperature maintained, and I will not buy this medicine. You can take it back." All these things. Now, this Bluetooth technology has removed all this fear. The user can measure the temperature inside the thermocol box without opening it, and he can decide basis the graph and data if the temperature is maintained, and he has to accept the delivery. And if he will say yes, then only the courier person will hand over this to him. Like international logistics, if it says nowadays we have different kind of containers, like these containers are also having GPRS based technology and supports where they can give the transmission of the data, and we can monitor the data throughout the journey. Recently, we imported one shipment from the Shanghai. Sitting over in India, we were able to monitor the temperature throughout the journey where the shipment is moving. From Shanghai, it went to Doha, Doha, it went to Bombay, Bombay to Ahmedabad. Everything was monitored very closely. So these are the basic advantage of the technology. Even you can decide which kind of the temperature, sorry, which kind of material packaging solution you want to utilize, whether it could be a thermocol box or it could be an envitainer or a credo or a soft box. So this is also help available with help of all this technology based supports. So this way, technology is must, and technology is very helpful to handling of this temperature-based cold chain solutions.
Thanks, Sanjay. And I think you brought me straight into our next question. I'm going to ask Pradeep this question, and that is how important is packaging when it comes to movement of temperature-sensitive products?
Yeah. So just thank you very much. I would like to answer this question. And apart from what Mr. Sanjay was explaining regarding the technology point, just I would like to add one more point. Like we have to adapt the latest technology only because I will just give you one example of a case study where we have worked on the thermal guns also, like age-old technologies where we only come to know that there is if you take a same calibrated thermal gun and you put it on the box, it will give the difference of almost 2 degree, 3 degree. And even if you put the thermal gun focus 3 centimeter from the target, 5 centimeter from the target, that will also give the variation. If you put the thermal gun on the secondary carton of the medicine and another bottle from where you are removed the medicine, 100 ml medicine, and you are putting directly on the liquid, it will give again the difference in the temperature. So realistic technology, latest technology, which is a very precise and having a good precision, is very important. Now I will come to the question here in the packing to the listeners also. Just as my own experience, I would like to give you at least 4 to 5 points. What is the very crucial packing points where we have to take care during the packing. First is the very most important is the selection of the box configuration. That is your very important decision comes. Like what is the distance you want to cover during that particular shipment? Even it is international, even it is a domestic also, because as rightly Mr. Imtiaz said that there are seven sister areas where these eastern states and where Guwahati, and after the Guwahati, then the transit becomes very difficult. Then you have to always consider that the box, validated box should have, you have to consider the hours, which are basically T minus 10 or T minus 15. That is target delivery hour minus 15 hours. So that should be your buffer time while delivering the product with the box. So box selection is very careful first at all. After, let's say you have selected the very proper box and you are rightly have a guarantee that that much hour you will deliver the product, or the any authority or party can deliver the product or agency. Then the cooking or the cooling of the gel coolant or the coolant inside the box is very important. Before packing, the cooling is a very, because sometimes people cook the gel pack for 48 hours because of urgency or kind of thing, or because of ignorance or inadequate training. They think that okay, this is feeling hard to my hand, it is cooked, but inside that particular hard gel there is also some part of a liquid is remaining. So 72 hour or whatever the appropriate hour given by the vendor or prescribed by the vendor is very crucial while cooling. Because I have also experienced certain cases where you will say that okay, this thing can be happen. Like when one of the audit, I have come to know that the product is has to be shipped in the to 15 to 25 degree only, and 2 to 8 degree is the gel pack we need to put in that particular box. Because it is having a very long distance, then one of the customer is used to pack it in the minus 20 gel pack, because it will then keep a very long distance, it will reach over the time. But he has not aware that whether by keeping minus 20 the product can get freeze also, and freeze the product can have a different problem with the quality and efficacy. So that kind of a training we need, that kind of training is actually required in the market. So cooking of the gel pack is a very important factor. Even you can get a cook hard gel pack in 48 hours, but inside the gel pack there will be a liquid, you will not get a complete cooking. Third is important is the delay time. Most of the time people use the data logger. Start time, they put the button, start the button, and then they will come from that initial peak is arrived and the product is at 12 degree or something like that, and then there will be a complaint will come. So the delay time for the digestion of that particular product with that particular I will say amalgamation of that particular environment ecosystem is very important. So that study, that need to understand, that knowledge has to be there, and that we have to select carefully what is the delay time for that. Again, when there is an international shipment or kind of thing, your data logger selection is very important. Certain flights are not allowing certain kind of data logger. That understanding should be very clear before the packing or selecting the particular data logger. At the same time, certain data loggers we need to be very properly select. It should be adaptable, suitable for our product. Most of the time because of the shuttering and handling, because of the box is moving here and there. Sometimes stop button of the data logger gets stopped in between the shipment. Half data is just produced. So all these things, there is now data loggers in the market where even stop button is there. You can make that switch off so that even by mistake even stop button is pressed, still the data will be continuously monitoring until it reaches to the customer this thing. So these are the modalities we have to consider during the packing also. And the last very important point is that the payload temperature. One, if you have a payload has to be, payload means product which is you are going to pack is at 2 to 8 degree, then your product has to be 2 to 8 degree at the time of packing. You cannot say that now my box is having a 2 to 8 degree configuration, the environment, so I can put 10 degree, 12 degree, just removed out of the cold room and kept for 10-15 minutes, and then I can put that in the box. So payload will take that secondary carton or the paper. Paper is a bad conductor of electricity heat, so it will take the normal temperature immediately, and the data logger will misguide you and give the starting temperature which is high. So payload temperature of the any product is very crucial, and that has to be keep in mind during the packing of the box. So these are the 4 or 5 points where you can consider that these are the important silent features, I will say.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Pradeep. And I think this brings up to a very important aspect, and that is regular training.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask Imtiaz maybe first, and then others can join in. So first, Imtiaz, do you have regular training for your cold chain management skills for the entire logistics team? Can you give?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely,
please go ahead.
absolutely. That plays a really very crucial role. So we have team on the ground who actually goes to the patient's place or the clinic where they have to collect the samples, and probably will have to deliver it to a place where the courier will again carry it further to the delivery destination. So the transit time from the clinic to the courier site needs a cold chain management. So the team who is actually on the first mile needs extensive training on this particular aspect. Understanding awareness as to why this is needed, how it can be done, how to support them maintaining the cold chain for that first mile is very important. So the first mile team is actually trained, documented, which become parts of our audit and certification for the cold chain training part. We also approach our vendors to take care of a shipment. Sensitivity, awareness, briefing on what is needed. It is not that they take the sample, put it in the box, and the job is done. No, the external vendors whom we are dealing with also need kind of training, although we may not certify them, but yes, a training that what you are handling, what is the cruciality of it, what is the importance of it needs to be told to them. And then when it comes to internal customers, it could happen that the internal customers may or the internal team members could accept the box, might not store that box in the required temperature, might remove the sample, might keep it somewhere else where they are not aware as to what temperature is needed for that particular sample. So the internal team members are also trained quarterly, certified, recorded, because that's has to be shown to the accreditation body. So the training is happening for the first mile, for the mid mile, and for the team who is accepting it in the premises. So training becomes very important role, plays a very important role in documentation of it, supports accreditation.
Anybody else who would like to add on this? Sanjay, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, yeah. Training is very much essential, as Imtiaz explained over here. First mile, second mile, middle mile, all these things. Further to this training, we have adopted some indicative signs and stickers like that. Okay, whenever we dispatch the cold chain products, then we affix the stickers, giving awareness to the people, those who are handling it. This shipment is having it is a 2 to 8 degree temperature. Then we also give training to the transporters, because once the cargo moves out from our warehouse premises, then it is बिल्कुल जैसे बोलते हैं भगवान भरोसे रहता है till it reaches to the destination. So we give understanding and training to the transporters, to the loader. Even we also arrange a training programs for the courier service people who collects the cargo from our site. Then they unload it their hub, and then from their hub when they load it to the for the airport. So we in past we designed some posters which we circulated to the all service providers. Number one. Number two, even at the C&FA point, we have prepared a checklist. Okay, when the cargo arrived, what was the time of arrival, when the door was open, and in how many minutes the cargo or the product was moved to the cold room, including whether the products were removed out from the cold thermocol box or not. In case of the courier dispatches, refer we don't use the thermocol boxes, but we track all these things. And C&F person storekeeper has to immediately download the data logger report, and he has to send it to the central warehouse, where central warehouse we monitor all these things, including this checklist: what was the time taken for the unloading and moving to the cold room, what was the temperature report, all these things. So trainings are very much essential, and without training this is not possible to handle efficiently the cold chain products.
Thanks, Sanjay. Now, we are talking about trainings. For example, each company will do the training according to his, his SOPs, his product, his distribution. And so, for example, a logistics service provider or a warehouse will have to undertake several different types of training to specific to each company, which is fine. I do agree that each company is unique in its own sense. But now I think from training, if you have a training, do you recommend a kind of a certification or accreditation program? Say, for example, by a standards body like NAB-CCM, we are sitting in this conference. They are an accreditation body for cold chain. And surely this could help to upgrade the skills in the pharma supply chain. Uh, and before the industry gives its opinion, I would request Avinash first to tell us what kind of training programs you could give. That could be a standard and it could be recognized by most of the companies. Avinash, please.
Thanks, Ryan. So this question I would like to pass to Sarvesh, who is the co-founder of NAB-CCM, to take this up.
Yeah, thank you, Avinash, and thank you, Mr. Ryan. First of all, I would like to thank all the panelists that everyone was emphasizing on training, and that is for sure that to maintain the quality, only training, and training is important. So we have brought, considering all the scenario, the gaps in the industry, we have brought training for working professionals, as in courses, which is a masterclass, offline and online. So many a times what it happens, offline classes, it is really difficult for working professionals to attend. So our online program is there, which is completely recorded session of 24 hours. And it has got split into several chapters, and further it has got split into several modules of those chapters. So each module is not more than 10 minutes. We have kept it 8 to 10 minutes, considering while traveling also, if anybody wants to complete their program, so they can complete it. And this certification program is in association with DY Patil University and FIRAT, which is Foresight Institute of Research and Translation from Rwanda, Africa. So this has got the global recognition also. So for working professional, if anybody wants to get this certification, they can go to our website, which is www.nab-ccm.com, and go to the program section, and you can it is self-explanatory. You can just click on the program, and it will guide you to the admission process. And apart from working professional, see graduates from almost all these streams, especially science. They are the future of the industry. They are going to drive the industry in coming years, 4 5 years maybe. So we have brought one program for them as well, where this all complete online a program, which is of 35 hours, and they have to complete in 3 months. So masterclass has to be completed in 1.5 month according to their comfortable time of 24 hours session. And for these graduates, it's 35 hours, and for 3 months tenure.
And
Thank you, Mr.
and
Ram. This is all from me.
you give a certificate also to this? The certificate is
Yes,
provided?
we give. We give.
Okay.
And there are logos also present of these two institutions that we spoke about, like Diva Patil University and Firat. And apart from this, there would be logo from the industry, which says it is industry enabled. So those are the stakeholder of ours. So we put logo of our stakeholder as well on the certificate.
Thanks, Sarvesh. Anybody from industry would like to comment? Imtiaz, Sanjay, or Pradeep, you have any
Okay,
comment?
so like before, like I just would like to like ask, there are few of the questions arrived over here. So can we go around with a Q&A session if
Sure,
possible?
sure. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So we have received a question from Mr. Vikas Varyani. He says, like, how do you manage short-time cold chain stock storage without drug license?
Mr. Vikas, there is no answer for this question because because the law does not permit this.
Okay, so the question is like, what are the most common compliance gaps you see when companies try to align with GDP in global cold chain operations?
Pradeep, would like to take it since it's a global question?
Mayura, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll repeat the question. The question is like, what are the most common compliance gaps you see when companies try to align with GDP in global cold chain operations?
The major gap is that the proper knowledge of handling the cold chain product, training to how to deal with the equipments, because in a global cold chain you will come across many different kind of technology, instruments, packaging solution, all these things. So as we already discussed in this session, that when the consignment is moved from the customs warehouse to and it is moving to load at the aircraft, the tarmac temperature is 45 degree, 50 degree, and imagine that your pallet is just behind the turbine of the aircraft. So the challenging thing is that the people those are involved in this end-to-end process, they should have proper training, proper understanding, and they should have that understanding how critical is this, and what they are dealing with. That is most important thing.
So, if you could give one piece of advice to the companies struggling with GDP compliance in complex global networks, what would be?
See, they should ensure that their products which is going to be handled by the agencies, different agencies, how competent they are to handle and your product, because it is a life-saving drug or it is a something. See, we are today it is a pharmaceutical forum. Whether you may have the perishable goods also, right? So they should understand what the value cargo they are handling, and they should be aware of that. And that's why in our organization we give proper training to the persons those who are handling the products, not at the only in our warehouse, but to the service provider also. So that is the one line message: the proper training and understanding of cold chain is required.
Okay. So one more question by Mr. Vikas Varyani. He says, like, do you have any online PhD program in pharma supply chain?
Need to be checked because need to be checked. No, no, I
I'll
can
try
check and I
to
can get back to you. Yeah.
I'll try to answer this. Again, there is no PhD program as such right now, but yes, we are in the process of discussion to build a consortium where there will be more than two universities will be coming together and building the pedagogy and the curriculum. And then we are bringing a master's program in cold chain management as well as a PhD program in cold chain management with collaboration with Firat in Rwanda. Even we are in discussion with other foreign universities. We just recently had a discussion with University of West Indies as well, and in India also, like we are discussing with couple of universities where these all universities will come together and build this curriculum, and this will be supported by international agencies also, the funding through which like we'll be conducting the PhD programs as well. So that's the intention, and we have already started working on that particular phase. And very soon, the PhD program, probably in the next year, like it will be launched again with the consortium of universities through which we are aligning.
Okay. So, any of the members who would like to ask some questions? We are just waiting for the more questions to be assigned.
So I think if there are no questions, we must thank our panelists for their expert advice and their time and efforts. I really appreciate this, and also the organizers, both Avinash and Sarvesh, for organizing this very knowledge-based program. So I'm really, pleased to be part of this program. So thank you very much. Also, thank you to our audience participants for coming for this program. So Mayura, if you want to give the final verdict, over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So GDP compliance in cold chain is not just about regulation, but about building trust and ensuring patients safely grow globally. We hope you found today's webinar insightful. Please stay connected with the cold chain community for more sessions, resources, and knowledge sharing. Thank you once again and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Have
Thank
a nice
you.
day.
Thank you. Yeah.